What do you think the biggest surprise in energy is going to be over the next decade or two? It seems to me, at least based on what you're saying, the technology that is promised is not able to deliver that which it is promising. So will the surprise be disappointment, or will the surprise be an actual surprise?
It's going to be one of each. Let me give you the bad and then the good. First, first the bad. We're very close, and we have been very close for 3 years, to a significant break in international energy markets, whether it's the Russian stuff going away or something happening in the Persian Gulf or something happening in Malacca or something happening to China. The production of vast volumes of crude is going to fall away, and the consumption of vast volumes of crude is going to fall away for demographic and geopolitical reasons. And I can't tell you which one's going to happen first. I can tell you that whichever one does happen first will then lead to the other one, and shit will get real in a lot of places very, very quickly. And for those of us who still want electricity, we will then basically have to fight to get access to the fossil fuels that will allow us to have it. And that will look different in every part of the world. Second thing, at some point in the next decade, our physical chemistry is going to improve to the point that we have a new idea that we will then want to apply, whether it's in generation, transmission, or storage. I don't know. One of the three, maybe more than one. That will generate a completely new arms race in order to access that technology and apply it. And whoever can figure that out leaves the old problems behind. I mean, the petroleum age was a mess. I understand why people would like to go beyond it. The green age, if it happens with today's technologies, would be worse. But that's not going to stop us from trying to invent something new. And as soon as we do, maybe it's a capacitor, maybe it's a battery, maybe it's power beaming, I don't know. We start with a completely new set of goals, needing a completely different set of materials and different concentrations, and that changes the geography of what we are concerned about. So we might, 10 years from now, be more obsessed with Bolivia than we right now are with Saudi Arabia and Iran. All depends on where the technology goes.
Well, it's interesting. America was obsessed with Bolivia for a little while, but for a different type of substance that they were exporting.
Yeah.
Bring back those days.
We're good.
Bring back those days.
Don't do cocaine. Sorry, just had to say that.
That's okay. That's a statement that needs to be made. Unless it can power an electric vehicle, in which case, has anyone tried that? Who knows?
I'm sure somebody in New York has.
Yeah. So this increasing reliance globally, because if you're going to increase capacity, it means that you need to coordinate more, and you need to be more reliant. I totally didn't realize the fact that just because you have the raw material doesn't mean that you can process it where it is. It can be sent away and then come back. So global supply chains are more important than ever. Been a few years since we spoke. What's happening with the state of global supply chains? I've heard you say that they don't survive without a global security guarantor, and that era is over.
Yeah. Right now, the ore comes from one place. It's primarily processed in China. It's sent to a third location to be purified to a degree that you can then actually use it, and then it gets turned into an intermediate product. So step one, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, that first processing step that's done in China, that has to be done somewhere else. If we don't get that right, we don't get to try at anything else.
What about the rest of the global supply chain, global food systems, other stuff like that? What else has changed?
I've been pleasantly surprised about global food systems. The sanctions against the Russians have not yet impacted the fertilizer supply system. And fertilizer as a category, there's like 11 different kinds, but fertilizer as a mass category, Russians are still the world's largest exporter. Without that, there is no food production in Brazil at all. And it looks pretty dicey in the Middle East, North Africa, and especially the South Asian zone. We haven't had that problem. In the meantime, the Americans continue to spin up more and more nitrogen fertilizer because that's primarily made from natural gas. And the Canadians continue to spin up more and more potash fertilizer because they've got that in Saskatchewan. So we're seeing other suppliers come into the system. They realize that it's a race. And so far, that's working out. Long-term, still a real problem, but we're not facing the acute crunch that we were. Trump's tariffs are pushing manufactured goods for agriculture the other direction. Basically, oversimplifying here, but the more complicated the more complicated the manufacturing supply chain happens to be, the more steps there are, the more players. If you have a high tariff system, it pushes your steps out into somewhere else, because otherwise you're paying the tariff every time something crosses your border.
Yep.
And so it's easier to take the handful of the steps that you do and do them somewhere else and just pay the tariff once when the thing comes in finished. For simple manufactured products that only have a half dozen steps or so, that tends to come to you because that's easier to collate. So when it comes to things like plastics and textiles and furniture, Trump's tariffs have reshored manufacturing. But when it comes to aerospace and computing and electronics and automotive, it's pushing stuff away. And agricultural equipment is definitely in that second category. So we're seeing John Deere, for example, has already cut more jobs in the last 10 months than it did in the previous 20 years.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad in the Midwest right now.
Shipping disruptions, how big of a deal is
We've
that?
been lucky. Yeah. Right now, the Asians realize that this is where their bread is buttered, and they're going out of their way to get along. The Chinese have not interrupted any shipping. In fact, they've even leaned on the Houthis and the Iranians to stop fucking around in the Red Sea, because they realize they're the ones that would be most screwed if that gets broken.
A quick aside, if your sleep's been off, you're taking ages to fall asleep, waking up at random times, feeling groggy in the morning, Momentus's sleep hacks are here to help. They're not your typical knock-you-out supplement just overloaded with melatonin. It only has the most evidence-based ingredients, perfect doses to help you fall asleep more quickly, stay asleep throughout the night, and wake up feeling more rested and revitalized in the morning. These things are an absolute game changer. I take them every single night, and when I'm on the road, they're unbelievable because they're pre-dosed. You just take this and your sleep will improve. What you read on the label is what's in the product and absolutely nothing else. And if you're still unsure, they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can just buy it completely risk-free. Use it. If you don't like it, if your sleep doesn't improve, they'll just give you your money back. That's how confident they are that you'll love it. Plus, they ship internationally. Right now, you can get a 35% discount on your first subscription and that 30-day money-back guarantee by going to the link in the description below or heading to livemomentus.com/modernwisdom using Modern Wisdom at checkout. That's livemomentus.com/modernwisdom. Modern Wisdom at checkout. Congratulations for making it to the end of a clip. Your brain has not been fried by TikTok. Watch the full episode here.